Hello, welcome to Practical Piano. So I've been answering questions on Quora, and people ask things like, can I be an expert in piano if I practice for 10 years? Let me answer that here. Potentially. The amount of practice that you get will always increase your skill level. The more practice you get, the faster you will learn. Yes, some people are geniuses and will pick up piano like birds fly, like birds learn to fly. And most people have to work very, very hard to achieve the same level of skill. What I would encourage for you, if you're asking that question, how long is it going to take me to become an expert? What I would encourage you to do is prioritize. Decide what's most important to you in life. And if piano's not at the top, that's okay. You need to understand what your goals are in life, what your priorities are, what is most important to you, what do you value? Because piano will fit in among those values. For instance, here is my value system, okay? God, family, financial freedom, probably self-care is there. It's relatively high. It's maybe not the top for me yet. It will be eventually, because I believe self-care is primary. Because out of loving yourself, you're going to love others. But mine is about here. Then piano. So my day looks like God, family, work and business, self-care. And then after that's all taken care of, piano factors in. Piano for you might be the be-all end-all top of the list, in which case you should dedicate the most time to piano. You should dedicate your primary time to piano. But if it's not top of your list, it should fall within those priorities that you have. Now, if you know what you're looking for out of life, you don't have to worry about the outcomes of your piano practice, because you will know that you are dedicating to piano the appropriate amount of practice that you have available after everything is said and done. That's actually more important than the outcome of being an expert, unless being an expert in piano is your top priority. So how much practice should you get? How long can you sit and focus on piano? Have you taken care of all your other responsibilities? What level are you at? And how old are you? Little kids have less focus, and it takes a while to build up the stamina and the perseverance in a little person to be able to sit for 30 minutes and focus on one thing. If you're a beginner, you've only got so much to work on, and then you tap out. If you're a beginner, let's say you've not done a discipline besides piano before, because lots of people have, they've gone to school and they've worked and they've come home and they haven't had any hobbies, and they just take care of the house and then they go to bed. And so if you haven't had to develop a focused discipline, if nobody showed you how to work out, like I have students that are kids and their family is already teaching them to work out. That's a really valuable habit. And if nobody instilled that habit in you, there's this element of discipline that's missing. Or if you haven't had a hobby before, if you haven't gone to martial arts regularly or swimming regularly, or lots of people haven't. And that's unfortunate, because disciplines help you regulate yourself and build you into who you are, into a stronger person. So if you haven't had these disciplines, don't worry about it, but this is the effect it will have on your piano practice. It is your first discipline where you do something and you just keep going. And you just keep working. And there's the goalpost keeps moving, Because once you learn this song, you learn a different song, you learn another song. Once you've done this recital, there's another recital in a bit. You're going to take an exam, then you're done the exam. The goalpost is always moving in piano because it is endless. There is endless possibility in piano. What do you mean by expert? Because I'm an expert. I've been playing for 20 years, but I can't play the same that other experts play. Lang Lang plays very high-tier music. Baron Bowen plays high-tier music. But there are also experts not in classical music. There was Stevie Wonder, who was a blind pianist who made a bunch of hit songs that were popular culture songs. There are jazz pianists who are experts. There are jazz musicians who also play piano. My teacher is a jazz musician. She primarily plays bass, but she also plays piano. She's an expert, but different. So it's very hard to define expert. How long is it going to take me to practice to become an expert? Now, vaguely, we can encapsulate this in something that I first heard from Tim Ferriss, but I don't think it originated from him. It takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert in anything. So in piano, I need 10,000 hours practicing, studying, teaching, performing. All of these things factor into your 10,000 hours. Now, what if you get double that? What if you get even 5,000 hours? That puts you more expert than most people who have played piano. Because a lot of people start lessons, they do several years and then they stop because they either become an adult or their parents made them do it, or whatever it is. Generally, you're going to be more expert than a lot of other people the more practice that you put in. And the higher level expert you become, the fewer people are in that category. So it's very hard to define your practice based on your outcomes because the outcomes are vague. But your practice, if you define your priorities, your practice is not vague. It's very, very specific. Your practice is, this is the time I have allotted. If you do want to become an expert in piano, whatever expert looks like for you, the amount of practice that you put in, the time you practice, you can waste all of that time. Here's what you do so that you don't waste it. You always analyze what's going wrong. So I know that last time when I started that scale and then I went, oh, and then we started over. I know what the problem was. The problem was that I didn't switch over with my correct finger in the left hand. That's a very specific problem and I get to identify it. I'm capable of identifying it. Because I'm capable of identifying the problem, I'm capable of fixing the problem, which means that every time that I practice now, if I am observant and I fix the problem, then my playing will improve. That's so important because if you're not paying attention when you're practicing, it doesn't matter how much practice you put in, if you ignore the mistakes, if you don't try to figure out what's wrong, and you plunge forward and you assume that you're right, and you ignore when things sound wrong, you won't make progress. Because to make progress, you have to look at the flaws. You have to be willing to deal with the flaws in order to move forward and become better. You can dump 10,000 hours into piano and not pay attention to what you're doing wrong, and you will play some bad piano. And you won't be an expert. And because you've trained yourself not to look at the flaws, you'll think you're good at piano, you'll think you're an expert. But really you've just trained yourself to do things wrong with a lot of confidence. That won't help. So as you go, and chances are if you want to take piano, you want to know what you're doing wrong and you want to fix it. And that's very, very good. Because that kind of attitude is going to earn you progress. So this is kind of a warning, but probably if you're here, you don't have that attitude of, well, like, I don't have to worry, I could just ignore when there's a mistake because I don't make mistakes. You probably don't have that attitude if you're here. Because you're watching a girl make mistakes all the time and point them out and tell you how to fix them. So that's probably the mindset you have, which is going to benefit you in the long run in piano. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you found lots of value in this video. If you liked the video, please like. If you know anyone who would also enjoy it, please share. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments. And subscribe if you want more. Bye.